You and I both know something's wrong. Not with the world, not with society. With you. You wake up with this dull, invisible weight on your chest. You scroll, you consume, you compare, and at the end of the day, you feel like you didn't really live. You were busy, but you weren't present. You were active, but not in control. And the cruel part? You keep telling yourself, tomorrow I'll fix it. Tomorrow I'll be disciplined. Tomorrow I'll start. But tomorrow comes, and you watch yourself break the same promises again. If that feels a little too accurate, it's because you are not as mysterious as you think. Human beings have been doing this for thousands of years. The ancient Stoics had a word for this quiet self-betrayal: living out of alignment with your nature. Today, I want to show you something very simple, a Stoic formula for success. Not success as in fame, clout, or flexing online, but the kind of success that makes you sleep at night feeling at peace with yourself. And the uncomfortable truth? You already know most of what I'm going to say. You just aren't living it. Section 1. The hidden war inside you. Let's start here. There are actually two of you. The first is the one that's watching this video right now, the observer, the one that nods and says, yes, this makes sense, I should change. The second is the one that actually lives your life, the one that snoozes the alarm, the one that says, just one more video, the one that knows exactly what needs to be done and doesn't do it. Nietzsche once wrote, he who cannot obey himself will be commanded. Most people hear that and think of dictators, governments, systems. But Nietzsche was pointing at something closer. When you cannot command yourself, your impulses will command you. Your laziness will command you. Your fear will command you. You become a puppet pulled by invisible strings, dopamine, novelty, comfort. The Stoics saw the same problem. Epictetus, born a slave, said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Not master of the world, not master of others, master of himself. Think about your own life. How often do you feel like your day just happens to you? You open your phone just to check something, and suddenly 30 minutes are gone. You say yes to things you don't care about because you're afraid of disappointing people. You start a task and abandon it the moment it gets uncomfortable. You're not evil. You're not broken. You're just untrained. You're like a soldier thrown into battle with no armor, no plan, and no training, then blaming the battlefield for being dangerous. Section 2. The Stoic formula in one brutal sentence. The Stoic formula for success can be condensed into one brutal sentence. Control what you can, endure what you can't, and act in accordance with your highest values every single day. 3 parts. Control what you can, endure what you can't, and act in accordance with your highest values. Simple, right? But simple doesn't mean easy. Let's break each one down, not as theory, as practice. Section 3. Control what you can, the circle of power. Look around your life. There are things you obsess over that you do not control. Whether people like you, whether you'll go viral, whether your parents finally understand you, whether the world becomes less chaotic, less unfair, less cruel. And there are things you barely pay attention to that you do control. What time you go to bed, what you put in your body, how much you move, whether you study or scroll, how you respond when someone disrespects you, what you feed your mind day after day. Epictetus used to tell his students, some things are in our control and some things are not. He considered this so important that it's literally the opening of his handbook. The Stoics drew an invisible circle around the self. Inside that circle, your judgments, your actions, your attitude. Outside that circle, everything else. Now here's the uncomfortable twist. Most of your anxiety comes from standing at the border of that circle, trying to pull what's outside inside. You want to control what other people think of you. You want to control what opportunities appear. You want to control how quickly you succeed. And in the process, you ignore the few things that are already truly yours: your effort, your focus, your integrity. Imagine just for a moment if you radically reversed that. Imagine if you stopped trying to control outcomes and became obsessed with controlling your own input. You can't control whether your body is perfect, but you can control showing up to train today. You can't control whether your work gets instant recognition, but you can control whether you finish the task in front of you. You can't control whether the world is fair, but you can control whether you become the kind of person who acts justly anyway. This is your first step in the Stoic formula. Shift your energy away from outcomes and back into your circle of power. Make your life about what you can actually touch, your actions, here, now. Section 4. Endure what you can't. Turning pain into power. Now let's talk about the part of life you don't want to hear about. Suffering. You've already been hurt. You've already been misunderstood. You've already failed, been rejected, embarrassed, and deep inside, you might be quietly waiting for life to finally soften, for things to settle down so you can finally become who you're meant to be. But what if that's never going to happen? What if the path is not, first everything becomes easy, then I'll grow? What if it's the opposite? The Stoics believed that adversity is not a glitch in life, but the training ground for the soul. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor with the weight of an empire on his shoulders, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is the way." Modern psychology agrees more than you'd think. Research on post-traumatic growth shows that people don't only break under hardship, they can become deeper, more resilient, more compassionate because of it. But here's the key. It doesn't happen automatically. Pain alone doesn't make you stronger. Otherwise, the most broken people would be the wisest. Pain has to be processed, consciously, honestly, courageously. You have two options whenever something hurts you. You use it as an excuse. Because they did this to me, I can't succeed. Because life is unfair, I don't have to try. Or you use it as a reason. Because they doubted me, I will become undeniable. Because life is fragile, I will live awake. The Stoic choice is the second every time. They don't romanticize suffering. They don't pretend it's fun. They just refuse to let it be meaningless. Think about one painful chapter of your life, something you'd rather forget. A toxic relationship, a failure, a betrayal, a long period of self-hatred. And ask yourself brutally, what did this teach me? How did this reshape my values? What strength did I gain that I am currently not using? If your answer is nothing, then that pain is still eating you, silently. Enduring what you cannot control means this: you carry your scars wisely instead of letting them control you. You acknowledge, yes, this hurt me, but it does not define me. What I do next defines me. Section 5. Act in accordance with your highest values. Here is the part most people avoid. You want success, you want discipline, you want freedom, but you haven't actually defined the values you're willing to live and die for. You're like a boat complaining about the waves without ever deciding where it's trying to sail. The Stoics believed that a good life is built on 4 core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, self-control. Let's translate these into your world. Wisdom, seeing reality clearly, not lying to yourself, not editing the truth to protect your ego. It's sitting down and admitting, I am wasting time. I am avoiding responsibility. I am sabotaging my future because I'm afraid. Wisdom is the courage to see yourself without filters. Courage Doing what needs to be done even when it scares you. Sending the message, starting the project, leaving the environment that's slowly eroding your soul. Courage doesn't mean being fearless. It means you move with fear without letting it steer your life. Justice, not in the legal sense, but in your personal dealings with others. Are you honest? Do you keep your word? Do you show up for people who rely on you? Do you treat strangers as if their inner world is as complex as yours? Justice forces you out of your bubble. It reminds you that your life is not just about you. Temperance, the hardest in a world of infinite stimulation. It's the art of enough. Enough scrolling, enough junk, enough distraction. Self-control isn't about punishing yourself. It's about protecting your mind from being pulled in